We're there. We're there. We're not there. We're almost there. I'm getting there. I was just checking the... That's cool. Okay, cool. So, hold on. Cough time. I was just checking the... in the group, or wherever this is being streamed live, you should see, like, the description that I put in, complete with emojis. I just think that's cool. I didn't know I could do that, so I'm playing. It's OBS Studio. If you guys have heard of that, it's essentially just a live streaming platform or a video platform. And I go live to Switchboard, which is an app that lets me stream to multiple places simultaneously. And what I discovered is they have templates for this. So, like, what you see in Facebook, for example, is, it says I'm live, and then it shows the description for all this stuff. So it's just cool. It's got some little hashtags in there. Sorry, I geek out about this kind of stuff. The tech stuff is kind of my jam. Welcome in. See, there's a handful of eyeballs in here already. That's good. We got Joan Raymond, of course. Good morning from Bakersfield. It is morning for you. 9 o'clock over there, something like that. Just took a walk before it got too hot. Yeah, no joke. It's been scorching here in Colorado. But it's been, I don't know, 70s, 80s most days, maybe 80s. It's been cooler than it normally is this time of the summer. And I think the last few days, it really started to feel like summer. But I'm going to Massachusetts in about a week, so I won't really experience much of the summer here in Colorado. We'll come back and it'll be school time again. 108 to 110. I don't even know why people would live there. I'd rather be on the surface of the sun. Hello, Robin Sardi. Less than frozen north. Shouldn't be too frozen up there right now, but maybe it is. So first of all, let me make sure I get my notes up there. Got it. Got my notes. I warned you all that I was going to have notes for this one, didn't I? Because last couple times I've just been kind of winging it, and it's not my jam. I don't want to be winging it. I want to be bringing the best. Bringing it. Kirk, hey, welcome. You haven't made one of these live? Well, I got some good news, man. This is going to be, I don't know, probably the best hour of your week. Honestly. Just kidding. Maybe not. David Wilson, 90 degrees in Fort Lauderdale. That's not too bad. Of course, the humidities, you guys, the wet bulb temperature there's like, what, 160? People die when they walk outside. Florida, yep, Randall, exactly. Feel real temp of 110. Gross! If you have to be in Florida, I guess you have to be in Florida, but I don't know what people, but Robin says it's 28C. I don't even know what that means. I don't think she's even talking about temperature now. I think she's just moved on to something different. It's Canadians. Oh, is it 28 Canadian? Is that what that means? I think it's 28 Canadian. Not 28 F-American. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, we got some eyeballs coming in from YouTube, eyeballs coming in from, I believe, Twitter. We're still going there. Maybe you guys can check for me. Let me know. Obviously, Facebook. We got the Facebook page. Got the Facebook group. Hold on. I got a member request for this group. I want to make sure we answer that because they're probably trying to come in to listen to me right now. There we go. Boom. They're in. 65 and raining in Asheville. That's is that North Carolina? South Carolina? One of those Carolinas? The Carolinas? A little over 80 in the completely made up arbitrary system you guys use. Yeah, it's hard to be number one, Robin. We get to make things up because we're number one. We do it the American way. But that's fair. You guys hold on to your Canadian temperature system. Welcome in. We're talking about going direct, and we'll give it a few more minutes before we just roll into things. So Kirk, don't freak out. We're definitely going to be getting into things here. It's your first time with us. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here. What I like to do with these live streams is talk about something that will affect you if it hasn't already affected you in an author career. So generally speaking, fiction, but there's people that come in, write nonfiction. I write nonfiction, but I also write fiction. And so this is really to help get the mindset right for writing fiction. And I do mean right. I do mean that there is a wrong mindset and a right mindset, right? I'm not saying that you have to adopt my mindset. I'm not saying that I'm right and you're wrong. What I am saying, though, is that like almost everything we talk about in Book Career in a Year, whether it's this Facebook group, my Facebook page, Twitter, whatever, however you find me, I'm real big on mindset, meaning usually let's just say the thing that we need, whether it's a strategy, a tactic, a tip, a trick, whatever, that we need next in our author careers isn't a strategy, tactic, tip, or trick. We think it is. We're looking for that thing. I'm not successful because I don't have X. I'm not successful because I can't figure out Y. My argument is that it's generally not the truth, that you need something like that. What you typically need is a change in mindset. I'm seeing that my video ended. Are you guys seeing that as well? What? Weird. Sorry, everybody. There was a little delay here. Okay, whatever. If we're still live, then we're going to keep rolling. I didn't mean to do that. My screen just literally says this live video has ended. So sorry about that. If you can still see me, I'll still keep talking. My apologies, everybody. This is why we love technology. This is also why I give, 10 something minutes before I actually start doing it. So yeah, maybe it's just a spotty stream on Facebook. Again, I'm live streaming to different places. You can go check my Facebook page. That's fb.com/bookcareer. You can go check YouTube. You can go check Twitter, I think. Instagram is always finicky, but hey, we're still good. I'm getting notes that we're still here. So thank you for telling me that. Anyway, what was I saying? I believe that the next most important thing that we need as authors very often is a shift in mindset. Okay. And the reason I think that, I'm just going to be real blunt. I don't think that I know that. And the reason I know that isn't just because of over a decade of doing this thing, right? The experience is important. It's because there's very little differentiators between where somebody in their beginning stages of the writing career is and somebody who's making $1 million a year from it. Okay. They're doing the same. They're doing the same Facebook ads. They're doing the same Amazon ads. They're doing the same email marketing. Generally speaking, right? Like they're talking in a different way because they're a different person, different tone, but it's all the same. There's no secret that they have. They haven't figured something out regarding Facebook ads that you haven't. They're probably just able to spend more money, right? And their mindset is what's really different. So I really harp on mindset a lot. Today will be no different. I've got, we're not talking about mindset specifically, but we are talking about this concept of selling direct and how to do it. You all know me. I typically, the vast majority of my stuff is exclusive to Amazon. It's Kindle Unlimited, but I still sell direct. And we're going to talk about how to do that because I believe in the next 5 years, probably even the next, 1 to 3 years, we're going to see a lot of authors jumping ship from Amazon and trying to go sell direct. So it's really in your best interest, even if you want to be exclusive with all of your ebooks, to understand how these platforms work, to sell direct, and to understand how they they can work for you, even if you aren't ready to jump, headfirst into selling direct with all of your stuff right now. Okay. And I may be jumping ahead of myself, so let me kind of back up. Like some of you may not understand. Like Kindle Unlimited is Amazon's program that you opt into 90 days at a time, and for that particular book, it's by book. You are not allowed to sell that ebook anywhere else. Okay, and so that's what exclusivity. When I say exclusive, that's what that means. You'll hear other people say things like wide. Going wide means not that. It means not exclusive to Amazon. Using a service like Draft to Digital, where I work, Smashwords does this. And there's different distributors that you can use, right? You can go direct to these platforms like Kobo or, Apple, all these different stores. You can go upload direct. You can use a distributor. That would be considered going wide. So when you hear the argument between should I be exclusive or wide, a couple assumptions need to be made. First of all, they're talking about Amazon exclusivity and going wide with everything else. And they're talking about ebooks only. And the reason for that is None of the other formats that I know of, at least none of the nothing popular, will make will ask for your paperbacks or hardcovers or audiobooks or anything else to be exclusive. Audible, which is audiobooks, does have an exclusivity clause. Back when that was kind of the only player in the game, it was they have ACX, which is the Audiobook Creation Exchange Marketplace, where we authors can go on and find a narrator, do a 50-50 split, right? You all know what I'm talking about. That used to be kind of the only way to do it. Not the only way, but it was the biggest one, and it was the most popular one. And of course it was Audible, which is, a huge audiobook company. It made more sense to be exclusive to Audible because you could almost guarantee a few more sales by being exclusive. You certainly get a much higher rate. Now, I don't recommend going exclusive with anything other than ebooks if that fits your business model. Okay, so just some definitions before we jump in, but we're talking going direct as an author, as a fiction author. And we've talked about ebooks already a little bit because that's really the big one that authors think about. When we say, oh, I'm selling direct on my website, very often that author is talking about selling their ebooks directly on their website. We'll talk about that a little bit, but I wanted to kind of open your mind. Again, this is all mindset, right? I want to open your mind a little bit and consider that there are a lot of other ways you can sell direct. And I highly recommend, let me just say, if I'm coaching you, I'm going to tell you to do this, to start building a platform that can sell direct, that can handle sales, shipping, all that kind of stuff. We'll get into how to do that. Because again, in the next 1 to 3, certainly within 5 years, we're going to see a lot of authors jump and ship from Amazon. They're going to be saying, hey, I don't want to be exclusive anymore. And they're going to be just starting the process of selling direct. And while there will be new platforms, new tools, new website services that help that author sell direct, they're going to be behind the game. All right, they're going to be jumping in, trying to compete and jostle for position with some readers that are already buying direct from authors like you. So that's why we're talking about it now. Okay, be thinking about this over the next year. If you need a challenge, if you need something to focus on, get in the game. And I mean that with respect, but get in the game. Selling direct is something you need to be doing. It doesn't have to be elaborate, and you don't have to do every single thing that I'm about to talk about, but get in the game, because what you're going to learn is just like anything, learning how to build a website, learning how to write a book. Like, you're not going to do it right the first time. Chances are it'll be better than you think it is, but you're going to give yourself a hard time, and you're going to realize there's so much to learn about it. But don't wait until you feel like you've learned all of the things before you do it. This is just like writing a book, folks, right? Like, you don't sit down and go, I'm going to read every book I can on how to write fiction. I'm going to study this genre. I'm going to do all these character sheets and study every single way to do characters before you even write a word. That's not how you do it. Yeah, you want to do some research. Yeah, you want to study craft. Yeah, you want to read other books. But at the same time, you should be writing, right? You should be publishing. You should be producing. You should be learning. That's the best way to do it. And it's the same with selling direct. Okay, so get in the game. That's the challenge. Give yourself, your technical inclination. Give yourself a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Something that maybe feels a little bit like a challenge, but isn't something that you can't accomplish, okay? Give yourself X amount of time and commit to just getting in the game, meaning selling one thing in one place that's not an ebook sold through Amazon KDP, or KU, I should say. Is that fair? Okay, that's the challenge. We're going to start, we're going to jump in here. So we talked about ebooks, but there are other things you can sell direct. What I'm talking about are things like paperback books, hardcover books. That's pretty easy. You can find a book printer. There's all sorts of services, and I'm not going to get into the details, but you can find anybody that prints books, and they can ship them to your house, and you can sell them from your garage on the internet, right? Ship them to readers that want to buy them. You can also work with a print-on-demand service, like Lulu has an integration with WordPress websites that you can just go set up and boom, done. Order comes in, it gets printed and shipped right to them. You can do this with hardcover books, of course. You can do this with signed copies. So that would be a situation where you would still have to ship it to your own house, have it in a garage. You have to have some inventory. But this isn't expensive these days. I mean, yeah, you're going to lose a little bit of the margin because you're printing fewer copies at a time, right? But it's totally viable to make money. Robin asked, is that what Book Vault does? Absolutely. So that's an example of something that, a service that is really, really good. I know Joe Penn uses them. I don't know the details and ins and outs of them because I believe that's the company that used to be Europe, UK only. And I think they've either just launched or they're about to launch in the US. Follow them on Twitter. They're very responsive. Great company, though. I've seen the quality of their books, very good. But that's what we're talking about, is a company that can handle the print on demand, right? Order comes in, they print it, they ship it. So pick, pack, ship is what we call it in the print industry. But again, you can do this yourself as well. You can order a box of 10 books. And that might be actually a good place to start. If you're not doing this with your paperbacks, if you just rely on Amazon, Ingram, Draft to Digital to sell your paperbacks, get in the game, guys. You can do this while those are still there. So you're not losing the opportunity to sell on Amazon. That's the beauty of this. But here's the challenge. Get 10 books, ship them to your house. You got that box sitting there collecting dust. And every day you're going to see it. You're going to come into your office, wherever you write, whatever you're going to look at it and go, I got to get rid of these books. You're going to be driven to figure out, the rest we're going to talk about is how to do this. But do that. Get in the game. If you're not doing anything else, it's a great place to start. Buy 10 paperback books, cheapest you can find, that's reasonable quality. Get them shipped to your house, and then follow the rest of the stuff I'm going to say and get in the game. Start selling those things direct. Okay. You can also sell, I mentioned signed copies, but you could do this a different way with book plates. These are little, kind of an old, antiquated thing, but they're really cute. And a lot of readers really like them. Where you sign, like some kind of designed, it could be the book cover itself. It could be just a piece of artwork from, your book or series. Just a postcard, 4x6, maybe 5x8.5, something that fits inside the book. You sign that and put it in the book and then ship it. This is great because you can print those and they're a lot cheaper. Than printing more books that you want to sign. You'll have to have the book to sign, obviously. But the point is, book plates are kind of a value add, and they're not very expensive because they're usually just postcards. I happen to own a printing company, so self-promo alert. If you need help printing this stuff, let me know. I'll find a good deal for you. You can sell special editions. So I would call something like a signed book a special edition, but think in terms of over and above. When I first launched my very first book, and I thought, well, this is it. This is the only book I'm ever going to write. I better do everything I can, bust out all the stops. I had a special edition version of that book. At the time, it was called The Golden Crystal. It's been renamed. Where I would actually print the book, and it was hardcover, really, really nice matte, cover, what is it, a dust jacket, sorry. And then I would wrap it in, it was like a butcher paper. It wasn't butcher paper, but something like that, like a brown paper, to make it look like some Indiana Jones kind of thing. And then I tied it with some twine, and then I would put that in a box and ship it to people. But the whole thing, this whole experience was like this, you're getting this old, notebook, and inside the secrets of, the Holy Grail or whatever. You get what I'm saying. So that was a special edition, right? It has nothing to do with, I shouldn't say nothing to do. It's a paperback version, or it's a hardcover version, but it's something more. And it doesn't cost a lot to do that. Just buy a roll of paper and a roll of twine, and there you go. You're just shipping a book, right? So the point is, be thinking in terms of over and above. You've already written the book once, okay? So how many different ways can you sell it? And all of those ways you can sell direct through your own website. Translations, audio formats. So these are, obviously takes a little bit more effort, money, time, whatever to produce. But if you can do it cheaply or affordably, then these are things you should be selling direct. Translations, when I say direct, you can sell it on your own website, or you can just control all of the income from it, meaning not be exclusive, right? So I sell my translations through Draft to Digital. I just have them distribute for me, because why set up all these different accounts and all these 200 whatever websites around the world when Draft to Digital will do it for me? I'm happy to give them 15% of money that I would never have made in the first place. Okay. And that's not technically direct, meaning through my own website, but it is not exclusive. I have the choice to sell this. If the German one takes off or the Spanish one takes off, I can sell that on my own website. Or if I start doing Google ads for my website, pointing people from Spain to my website and then translate a page, guess what? I can sell that translated copy direct on my own website. So that's what we're talking about. Audio is the same way. I don't want to get into that because it's a whole big thing. But you can do the exact same thing with them. And then related materials and swag. So cookbooks, recipes, guides, coloring books, whatever you can do that's related to your series. Now, this does take extra work. Obviously, it does take a little bit more energy, but if you've got a series that's doing really well, think in terms of, how do I sell the Harry Potter wand to the Harry Potter fans? Movie rights would fall into this, but we can't exactly sell those when we want. It's more of a luck of the draw thing, right? But swag is part of this. You can be selling that stuff direct. Okay, so you get the idea. There's all different ways of selling things directly, or at least controlling them and not being exclusive to one store or another. So the real question comes down to how do we sell this stuff, right? The technologically struggling of us are, we're not website developers. We don't want to get into programming and figuring out how to set up all these websites. Even if it's something simple, ostensibly simple like WordPress, it can get a little tricky because there's just a lot of things to configure. And if something goes wrong, the order may come in and you'll never know about it. That's bad. Or something may come in and you don't get the shipping address. That's bad. So there's all these things that I think can trip us up as authors. We're like, there's just a lot to think about. So if you're new to this and that's you and you're like, technologically, this is too much, go set up a Shopify account. Okay, Shopify.com. It is not free to do what we need it to do, but it's worth the cost if you want to really challenge yourself and get going selling direct. Shopify is a fantastic platform because it will do all this stuff for you, and it is designed to be easy for both you and the customer, the reader in this case. They'll give you a little simple website. It's real nice. It's real simple. It's fast, which is important. And people can go, they trust it now, right? So you'll get the SSL certificate and just go set something up. Go click around. Go check out the pricing. Commit to a month or two of doing that. It shouldn't be more than like $30 for a couple months of this thing at the basic. I don't know the prices. But something like that. You got $30, okay? Just go set something up. See how it goes. Get that box of 10 books. See how to get them to people. Just get in the game. Okay, you don't have to commit to Shopify for the next year. Just learn something. If you don't know what to do, learn something. Go start with Shopify because they will do it all for you. Okay, I don't use Shopify. I'm not, an affiliate for them. I'm just saying they're fantastic. Okay, so go use them. If you want to keep it potentially even easier, and you've already got a website, wherever that website lives, Wix, Squarespace, WordPress, it's your own self-hosted thing. You can get different integrations for that website very easily. The most simple of them is a PayPal button. I don't know how to find it because PayPal has a horrendous problem with not showing you where things are on their website. But if you just Google PayPal button, you should be able to get into if you set up a PayPal account. Obviously, it should take you right to where you can create a button. So book $15.99 plus shipping. Here's a button, and then you take and copy that code onto your website. There you go. Boom, PayPal button. Is this the sexiest option? No, of course not. But it's not ugly. It's not bad. And people know what PayPal is. They trust it, right? So your customers are going to see it and go, okay, I get it. It's PayPal. I'm going to put my shipping address in and I'm going to get a book. You haven't spent more than 15 minutes on this at this point. So that's a very easy way to get going in there, okay? PayPal is probably the simplest version of this, but there's sites like Gumroad, which it kind of makes it a little bit prettier, a little bit nicer, it's a little bit better integrated. The cost is, you may have to set up a little bit more regarding the HTML or do some CSS tweaks. Still not hard though, guys. Honestly, just go Google how to do this stuff. All of these websites want your money. They take a transaction fee if they don't charge a monthly fee. So they have great help sections to make sure that this is easy for you. They want you to use it. So if you get stuck on something like Gumroad or PayPal, go check their help, walk through it, spend some time doing it, and you'll learn. Again, you don't have to. I'm not telling you to commit to this stuff for the next 10 years, but commit to it now so that you can start learning the ropes. Okay. Finally, another version of this is something like PayHip. This is a totally free platform. They just take a transaction fee of 5%. So it's higher transaction fees than other websites, but not a deal breaker. And it's totally free. They don't do any feature gating. Right, so it's pay us $10 a month, you get these 5 features, but pay us $15 a month and you get these 20 features. They don't do that. All of the features are available to everyone. If you're enrolled in any of my Book Career in a Year courses, these are all living at PayHip right now. I'm actually moving away onto my own platform very, very soon, but PayHip is very, very good, and they can handle something as simple as selling a book. If you are doing something like just ebooks or audiobooks, BookFunnel has some of these integrations as well. So go set up a BookFunnel account. You'll have to pay for the integrations tier. But Damon is the best guy in the world, and he's the kind of guy that you want to hitch your horse to the wagon. He's the wagon. I don't know, whatever. The point is, he's a good dude. BookFunnel is his company, and he is killing it. He's just doing a really good job. If you don't do anything with BookFunnel, just go set up a BookFunnel account and see all the things that he offers. Some of those things are ways to help you sell direct, okay? Moving on, you can get more advanced with this stuff. So if you're familiar with everything I've said and you're just like, I don't really, there's something about them I don't like or it doesn't work for me, great. There's other options here. Something like Patreon could be a good direct sales platform. This is a monthly thing, and I believe they just recently opened up a free tier, so you can literally have you aren't paying monthly to Patreon, and your author or your readers won't pay monthly to hear from you. They can just back you, I guess. I don't know what they call it on Patreon. They don't patronize. That's not what it is. Patreon. I don't know what they call it on Patreon, but go set up a Patreon account. You can do some direct sales that way too. You're basically getting people to commit to paying you every single month for something. And one of those things could be swag. In this case, a book, or, a t-shirt or whatever. And then finally, this is what I use. I would call this kind of the, not most advanced out there, but this is definitely something that you're going to need to do some tweaking and some kind of, pulling some levers, turning some knobs, all that. And that's the WordPress route, where you self-host or pay a hosting company to have a hosted WordPress instance. So not the free WordPress, but where you download a zip file, an archive, and you install it on a server somewhere, and you have your own custom WordPress website. They bought a company not recently, but 10 years ago or so, called WooCommerce. And now that's their shopping cart integration system. It's very robust. It works very well when it finally starts to work, meaning there are a lot of things that I've had to code or plug in and, get this plugin here, get this plugin here, and some of them cost money. And these things start to stack up. And at the end of the day, I've got a very bespoke custom WordPress WooCommerce sales engine that works flawlessly. It's amazing, but it took a long time to get there. So you don't have to do that. I mean, right out of the box, it will work just fine. It'll just be basic, and you can't do things like subscriptions if you wanted to do that. But you can absolutely sell. And I'm pretty sure you could sell a book and ship it to somebody, and all that stuff would happen, and all you're paying is the credit card transaction fees. You can't really ever get away from those. So WordPress WooCommerce could be very, very simple and very quick to set up for you, and it could work very well. You don't have to, go all the way to the end like I did and get really advanced. But if you feel like, doing that, you can. Okay, so that's some of the technical stuff. So we've talked about what to sell direct. If it's not just an ebook, and you're exclusive to Amazon, there's still the option to sell direct with all those things. And we've talked about how, or I should say the platform through which you can sell direct. A lot of these will have ways to just build links. Like PayPal, for example, you can have a button, but you could also have just a link to a product, and it lives on a PayPal page. Gumroad is this way, so you can link to a Gumroad page. So you don't even have to have a website. This is where I'm trying to get. That's the point I'm trying to make. You could literally just start blasting social media, email marketing, email newsletters, and say, hey, here's a link to my book, boom, and it lives on Gumroad's website or lives on PayHip's website. That's really cool because these places are already set up to accept money and already set up to pay you and already set up to ship. So it's worth investing in that if you don't have a website and you don't want to spend any money on it. Go get a free option like PayPal, Gumroad, PayHip. Those are certainly capable these days of doing what you need them to do. I hope what you're hearing is that there's no excuse to not do this. That's really the mindset shift I want you to be making. Yes, hey, you still got to write the books. Yeah, hey, you still got to do my 3 things when it comes to marketing, social media, advertising, and email marketing. Guess what? That's the barrier for entry. All that stuff is something we're all doing, okay? If you want to say you're a writer, and I should say an author, somebody who's published books, published with their work, these are the things you have to do. I'm saying we're going to have to add to that. The next 1 to 5 years, we're going to have to say I sell direct. And all of the work that may or may not be involved in that, you're going to have to do. Just get used to it. Okay, cool. Sorry. So here's the big thing about marketing. About selling direct is how do we market this stuff? How do we actually get people over to the thing that we want them to buy? That's always the question. Okay, that's always the main issue. You go, yeah, Nick, but I've got the website and I've set up a Gumroad account. And that's great, but no one's buying my books. I hear you. I feel your pain. Here's how you do it. First of all, you got to think in terms of your overall brand, okay? Now, usually when I say branding, I'm talking about social media. That's pretty much what branding is today, okay? Yeah, your logo and all that stuff, but really branding is social media. But in this case, I'm talking about platform-wide brand. Let me give you sort of a side-by-side comparison here, and you'll start to see what I'm talking about. When you sell through Amazon, all you have to worry about is providing the content. That's it. Yeah, you got to set the price and give them a description and all that stuff, but you're really just you just provide the content and pop in a description or whatever, and they will handle everything else, right? They will handle the customer flow. So the reader lands on your page. However they get there, they land on your page, and Amazon has spent billions at this point figuring out exactly how they want to get you to click that orange button or whatever the color it is now, green, I don't know. Buy now or subscribe to Kindle Unlimited and read it for free, So they've figured all that stuff out. You don't have to worry about any of that when it comes to Amazon. They're just going to pay you, and it's going to be 60 days after close of business, but you're going to get your money. Easy. When you are selling direct, you are now the Amazon in this case. You are now the person or the company in charge of that customer flow, that customer journey. So it does get a little more complicated. And this is where the marketing tends to kind of fall apart. And we don't know why as authors. We just, I built the website. I set up the Gumroad account or the PayHip or the Patreon. No one's given me any money, right? You need to start thinking in terms of, hey, my whole brand is from the moment I interface with the customer, the potential reader, to the moment I deliver the book and the transaction is over. And hint, it's usually not over then. That's just when you've sold the product. You're still going to communicate with them forever, right? So this is a much bigger piece to bite off, right? This is a much bigger piece than just uploading to Amazon or Draft to Digital, some store, and letting the store itself handle this customer journey. So now that you're selling direct, you need to start thinking in terms of this customer journey. Yeah, you can use Gumroad, but is it living on a gumroad.com domain? Yeah. Does that matter? It might. It could. People are like, I don't know what Gumroad is. I was buying this book from Nick Thacker and now I'm on Gumroad, right? Most people on the internet, the internet's not anything new anymore. Most people are going to be fine with it. We get, okay, it's a sales platform. I gotcha. All right, that's fine. But not always. There's definitely people who will say, I don't know what this is. I'm uncomfortable with this. I'm going to back out. This is true with any platform that's not your own domain. It's even true with your own domain if they've never heard of you, right? So you need to start thinking in terms of, okay, well, how can I control all this stuff and brand it to be me as much as possible? This carries through to your brand before they become a customer. So the way that you're reaching out and talking to people is part of this brand that I'm talking about, right? When you upload a book to Amazon, there's a little bit you can do to manufacture some sales. We're talking ads, and you can still point people there. But Amazon itself does this really well, right? You get a new release. At some point, they're going to shoot out an email to people they think want to read your book. Best marketing you can get because it's totally free. But when you're doing all of this yourself, when you're selling direct, you are in charge of that now. So think in terms of your overall brand, okay? Again, this isn't an advertising talk, so I'm not going to get into the details of how to do this specifically, but you can advertise, okay? I mentioned before, I've got the 3 little buckets, and I've talked about these a lot. If you're an author in the modern era, you need to be doing ads. You need to be doing email marketing, and you need to be doing social media. Just as simple as that, okay? If you're not doing one of those things, you're missing out. And chances are you're not where you could be already because you're just not doing one of those things. You're not focused on them. So foundationally speaking, with everything you do as an author, you got to be doing those 3 things. In some incarnation or iteration, those are the 3 big marketing buckets. And that is true with selling direct as well. Those are the 3, I would say, only things you need to be doing. Okay? If you're looking at doing billboard advertising, I'd say, hey, that's really cool. You must be doing really, really well. You're making, what, $10,000, $20,000 a month? And you're like, no. And I'm like, okay, but you've got your email marketing nailed down. You got your Facebook ads running $1,000 a week or day, whatever. And you got your social media. Did I ever say that? Whatever. You got the 3 things going, right? And if you were to say, well, I don't really do social media. Okay, stop doing the billboard ads. Focus on social media. Get that to be a well-oiled machine and working for you before you do anything else, okay? So foundationally speaking, those are the 3 ways to market. And that is true with selling direct as well. Facebook ads are still kind of the main engine behind all of my ads. Amazon ads are great if you're selling on Amazon. If you're selling direct, you can't use Amazon ads, right? Because you can only link to an Amazon page with Amazon ads. But Facebook ads are awesome because you can link anywhere you want, and you can take people from any walk of life, any demographic, and point them over to your page. Again, we're not talking about Facebook ads, but we will later in not this call, but in another one. So don't worry, I'm not trying to be vague about that. It's just there's too much to talk about when it comes to ads. But email marketing is the same thing. You are building this list, right? You should be. You better be. If you're not building a list, get to it. Stop doing billboard ads. Build a list. And email those people once a week. Minimum. Once a week. Email those people and let them know, here's what's going on in my life. You don't have a release? That's totally fine. Engage with them. Ask them a question. Once every week. You could do more. I don't recommend doing less. Most people do less. Most authors do less because they think they're going to spam people. They sign up to hear from you, so let them hear from you. And then when you feel like it's appropriate, boom, send a link to your direct sales platform, whether that's your website or Patreon or whatever it is, okay? And then social media. Don't spam the internet with all your links to your stuff every single day, but give us a good cat picture or a nice healthy meme or a video of you talking about something. Just engage with your people. I mentioned that this is what branding is today. This is branding. Social media is branding. It's the same thing. The commercialization of engaging with people on the internet is what branding is, okay? And social media is how we do it. So get on social media, get a rhythm going. I try to post 4 times a day. That sounds like an unbelievable, ungodly amount of posts. Yeah, it may be, but that's what I'm using to build what I'm doing here. But I'm not in the same situation, right? I'm building this whole book career in a year thing. It's more nonfiction side than fiction. So there's a little bit more to it for me. That's fine. But post every day, at least once. Doesn't have to be all in the same place. Doesn't have to be, but do a tweet once and then do, Facebook post and Instagram. Chances are that's not going to be quite enough because you're just going to get lost in the noise. But at least you're in the game, okay? And then every time you feel like it's appropriate, and this could be maybe every 5th time or every 10th time or every 3rd time, link to something that you're trying to sell direct, okay? People get frustrated when I say this because they're like, look, I've tried social media. I do like the 80-20 thing where 20% of the time I'm talking about my own stuff and 80% of the time I'm talking about somebody else's stuff, and it just doesn't work. And I would say, let me see the data. Let me see that it hasn't worked. Because most of the time we do this stuff and we just sort of try it. We're just like, I did a tweet last month. It doesn't work. And I'm saying, you're going to take this seriously? You're going to be doing this. This bar for entry, right? Barrier of entry is email marketing, social media, and ads. And if you're going to be taking your writing career seriously at some point in the future, make it today, but some point in the future, you got to be doing this stuff, guys. And it doesn't have to kill you. You don't have to spend 7 days a week, 24/7 or whatever, doing social media, but you need to have some kind of plan. And that plan needs to be testable. And you got to prove to me that that plan didn't work. At which point I can say, okay, well, here's why it didn't work. You didn't do it enough. Or this is all really great stuff. You just don't have enough of it. Okay. And then that's a different battle, though. That's a different issue, right? Don't just go squirt out a tweet every 3 weeks and be like, oh, Twitter doesn't work to promote my books. That's because you didn't really do it. That's not how Twitter works. So anyway, this isn't a social media talk, but the 3 buckets, you got them. You know what they are. I'm going to always harp on them because they are the core foundational marketing activities we do as authors when you're selling direct as well. Okay. And then the last point I'm going to make with this is that you must test. And I kind of was talking about that with the social media thing, but all of your stuff should be testable. This is the digital age, folks, and everything we can do is trackable and testable. When we're doing billboard advertising or commercials and back in the day on TV, like you can't really test that. You don't know who's watching it. Nielsen's not going to give you that data. The billboard company's not going to tell you who drove by because they don't know. Now we can test everything. You want the answer to why you're going to feel overwhelmed about doing tweets that don't work? It's because you haven't tested anything. You don't know what's not working because you haven't looked at the data. Once you have that data in front of you and say, oh, I see why this isn't working, then you get to stop doing it because it's not working and you get to figure something else out that does work. And let me tell you, you can tweet all day long, and if it's driving sales to your platform and you're making a bunch of money, you're really happy to keep tweeting. Okay, so that's the missing piece. It's not that Twitter doesn't work or Instagram doesn't work or Snapchat doesn't, whatever it is. It's that you haven't tested it enough to know why it's not working, and then changed it to work. Okay? Not easy, though. I'm not saying it's easy. Just saying that's the answer. Okay, last few things before I open for questions. I'm going to talk about this idea of the funnel. Now, I mentioned a service called BookFunnel. This is not the same thing. Damon started the company called BookFunnel, but the whole purpose of a funnel is as a marketing tool, we can picture a funnel, like an upside down triangle, with all the people up here who might be your customers, but you don't know, funneled down to the person who is your customer. Okay. And every step in this funnel, we warm them up warmer and warmer until they're a hot lead, and then we sell them something and we take their money. That is the internet marketer's way of, talking about this, but I just don't want to put fancy words on it. That's really all we're doing. When we write a book, we put it somewhere, maybe it's Amazon, and then we do something to get people into the funnel, and then they buy the book, and it squirts out the other side, and Amazon shows up on their Kindle. Just a funnel, okay? All of the stuff we're talking about selling direct goes into building funnels goes into selling direct. Amazon, like I said earlier, Amazon sort of handles this funnel for the most part. Yeah, we want to kind of send people to them, but then it's Amazon's job to get people through that funnel and to get that sale. When we're doing direct sales, now we're in charge of these funnels. Okay, so I wanted to give you a couple examples. I'll give you a simple funnel and a more elaborate funnel. Guess what? If you've never done this before, start with the simple one because it's not a bad funnel. It's a very, very, very effective one if you do the pieces right. It's just simple because it's only got 3 steps. Okay, so let's throw the marketing talk aside because everything we talk about regarding funnels, selling direct, is going to involve marketing. So I'm throwing it aside because we're not talking about marketing today. Is that fair? But just assume that you're doing some marketing, social media, advertising, and email marketing that shoots people into the top of your funnel. And here's what the funnel looks like. A very simple one is what we throw around in internet digital marketing circles called the OVO. And that stands for opt-in, value, offer. And those are just literally the 3 steps of your funnel. Think about it this way. You market somehow, right? The 3 buckets, you do something and you find a person who you want to put in your funnel. You're going to get them to go to a page where you get their email address. That's the opt-in. That's the first O, opt-in. So just, hey, person, random internet person, I would like your email address. In exchange, I'll give you this, or in exchange, I'll do that. We all do this already, right? This is the freebie. That's all it is. This is just give something away, get their email address, and then you have their permission to email. Okay? That's the opt-in. The second step is another page. This can be done in an email too. So once you get that email address, then you send them the free book. But then the next email you send them can be, it's all in the email or it's a link to go to another page. It doesn't matter. However you want to set it up is fine. But that second thing is a value add. It's a value. Okay, that's the V. So OVO, opt-in, value. And value can just be more of the same thing. Here's a bonus. Here's a free chapter of my next book. They didn't expect it. They didn't know that. You're just adding value. You're engaging them. You're getting them kind of warmed up, right? You're putting them in that funnel. But give them value. Give them a free gift. Maybe it's just a welcome video, right? Maybe it's just, hey, I'm Nick. I write books. This is what I like. If you like this, blah, 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 blah. That's valuable. Not to everybody, but to some people, that's valuable. And the point is you're just giving them free value. And then finally, the third step is an offer, OVO, opt-in, value, offer. And so the offer is just, hey, I've given you some value. Why don't you give me some, dude? Buy my book. Here it is. And you can link directly to your website and sell direct. Boom, you got the sale. OVO, that is a very basic online internet marketing funnel. Most of you who have done this for a few years or more have already been doing OVOs and you just don't realize that's what it's called. But the way to talk about this stuff, or the reason we want to talk about it in this form, where it kind of sounds like, we're just cutting through the clutter and just saying OVO, boom, opt-in, value, offer, is that now it's more testable. You can identify exactly where your opt-in page is, then you can tweak it, you can test it, you can drive traffic to it, and you can see where it might be failing. Maybe your Facebook ads are working great, but they're costing too much. Great. Well, don't change the opt-in page because that's working fine. Maybe your Facebook ads are great. You're getting 3-cent conversions, but they're going over and no one is signing up to your email. No one's signing up to get emails. You may have an issue with your targeting over on Facebook ads, or your opt-in might just not be good enough. It might be broken. The point is now you can identify where in this funnel things are breaking down. On the same thing with the value side, right? Well, hey, you know what? I'm getting people signed in, but then they kind of unsubscribe after I send this email. Well, change the email. You're getting 30% unsubscribes when they get the value email. Change the value email. Add more value. Or just ask a question. We forget that just engaging with people by asking a question about themselves is valuable for most people on the planet. That's why we're human. Then same thing with the offer. Okay, so that's OVO, very, very simple. Now, here's a more elaborate funnel. What you're going to notice is there's just more values in the middle. It's still OVO, but it's like O, V, 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 O. That's all it is. That's all a more elaborate funnel is, okay? So you have your opt-in, same thing, email sign up. However you get them there, that's marketing. You get them into the top of your funnel with the O, with the opt-in email sign up. You always want to get the email sign up, right? Why? Because email's cheap and it's not going anywhere. Everyone that says email's going to die, oh, Facebook is the future, all these different social media platforms. How do you log into those social media platforms? With your email address. Email's not going anywhere, right? So, sorry, I get really excited about email. I love email. Opt-in. That's the email sign up page. And then your value, still same thing, welcome video. Then another one, Another value email. Hey guys, thanks for joining my mailing list. I hope you watched the welcome video. Here's a link if you haven't seen it. Guess what? Today I'm going to give you a free book. I know you didn't expect that, but boom, here we go. And then you do another one, another value. Maybe that could be, let's see, I think I put it in my notes. That could be something like a question. I mentioned that before. So a question for engagement. So you've got email sign up, and then that generates an email right away that's like, hey, you're on the list. Here's the freebie that you signed up for. Then a couple days later, you send that welcome video. Hey, you're on my mailing list. Don't freak out. This is who I am. Here's my face, whatever, or a picture of you and your cat, whatever. And then the next value. Here's another free book. I know you didn't expect it, but I'm just cool like that. Here's a free book. Another few days later, you ask a question. Hey, what are you currently reading? What interests you? Okay, and then when you make that offer, maybe it's been a week, maybe it's been 2 weeks, maybe it's been a month, it doesn't matter. When you get that offer, you've just built value, and all of a sudden, offer, boom. Hey, you mentioned you like reading Clive Cussler. Guess what? I've got a book that I think you'll like. Happens to be mine. Go buy it here, and you send them to your direct sales platform. That's how the funnels work. Okay, OVO, very, very simple. When we get more complicated in business, ultimately, what we're really doing, or I should say what good marketers are trying to do, is just stack OVOs. And what I mean by that is, you may have the opt-in, get on the email address, and that may be just a simple OVO. 5 days later, that funnel is done. You've made the offer. Maybe they've bought it. Maybe they haven't. Either way, you take that email and you drop them into another one, another OVO. Hey, you didn't like that, but guess what? I've got a book over here that I think you'll like. Okay, and that's another OVO. You're adding more value in between the opt-in and the offer. And then, maybe they did buy that the first time. But guess what? If you bought that, you're going to like this. It's a signed copy of the book with, a special chapter since you already bought this, whatever. So you get the point. You just start stacking these OVOs. Ultimately, again, since we're talking selling direct, the point is all of these offers end with a direct sale. Okay, all of these offers end with going to the platform you've set up to sell direct and then asking for that sale. That's all this is all about. Okay, that's all this is. OVO, selling direct, making sure you have a platform. That's all this is. That's actually perfect timing. I'm done, so I'm going to take some questions. I'm going to try to read through the things here. I still can't see my video on Facebook, but that's okay. I don't need to see my face. I know what it looks like. But I can see your comments. I can see your questions. So I've talked about a lot of things here, and I got into a little bit of the OVO stuff, which isn't technically just selling direct, but that's how we all do it, whether we realize it or not. The people selling direct, the authors killing it, making 10, 20, 30,000 a month selling direct, they've set up an OVO sequence. They've got an opt-in, they're given value, and they do an offer. They may not know it, they may not call it that, but that's what it is. And if you can think in terms of how to sell direct via OVO, you're going to be in the game. Okay, you're going to be in the game. And trust me, you will make changes over the years. So just because you pick Patreon today doesn't mean you might want to move to Shopify later or vice versa or build your own. Don't freak out about the thought of having to build your own custom bespoke platform. Just get in the game. Just get started with your simple OVO, one value, one opt-in, one offer. Boom, done. You can live on that. You can make a career on that. As things start to change in the marketplace and all that, then you just tweak it. You just make changes to it. You change the ads or you change the platform, whatever. But anyway, okay. Robin's sending me some questions. Joan asked one earlier, so I will answer those here. Let's see. What'd you say? I've heard Joan asked. I've heard some authors use Etsy to sell paperbacks. I know their fees are about 10%. Anyone have thoughts on this? Hey, look, Etsy's a great marketplace. It's not exclusively for books, but there could be a benefit to that, right? Because people are browsing around finding, Kitsy Arts and Crafts or, whatever, the DIY stuff that it got popular for. And they come across a book and they're like, oh, it actually looks kind of a cool book. I might check it out. Don't worry about the fees, Joan, because the people on Etsy, generally speaking, aren't going to be the readers that you're finding on other platforms. So just because you have another platform that charges 5%, this one charges 10%, but you make the sale on the Etsy platform, don't look at that as a loss of 5% potential. Look at that as I got to sell a book and I made 90% of the profits selling direct. And again, Etsy's technically not direct because you don't own the platform, but it is direct in terms of it's not exclusive to a certain website. So I like it. I like Etsy. Etsy's a good platform. I mean, I guess any of these social media-ified platforms like Etsy can be fantastic places to find readers. I would be hesitant to start on Etsy unless you are specifically trying to make a career off of something that is, the DIY, sort of the craft kind of stuff, like a cookbook, maybe recipes, that kind of thing. Only because if you're not doing any of this stuff, if you're not selling direct at all, start with the low-hanging fruit, right? Set up a website and set up a PayPal button or Gumroad, or just don't even do a website and send people directly to Gumroad or PayHip and just get the sales that way, because now you're in the game and you can control everybody coming into that based on the marketing you do. Right? I hope that makes sense. Feel free to drop a question in. I'm looking on the Facebook group live video, so that's where I'm reading the questions from, and I can only see 4 at a time. So if you had a question earlier that I'm missing, feel free to drop it in again, and we can answer those. We can be done. I don't care. It's up to you. I'm here for you. I'm committed to your success. I just sit in this basement office all day thinking about you guys. That's how much I love you. I'm just being sarcastic. But I do love you. I do appreciate you being here, listening to me ramble on about selling direct. Sometimes it does get a little rambly. I apologize. Hey, Nick Stewart. I actually was in band with this guy. Good to see you, man. If I had money, I'd hire a typist who's great. Oh, that was a previous conversation going on. Sure. Yeah, Robin mentioned dictation. Again, a little shameless self-promo here. I've got the most affordable, the most thorough course on dictation ever, and it's called Dictating. I don't know what it's called. What's it called? Dictate like an author? Dictation for authors? Something like that. Like I said, it's living on PayHip right now. That is currently being moved over, and I'm purposefully using passive voice because I'm not doing the work, and I need to be. But it's going to be moving over to its own platform. It's going to be really cool. You can log in, see all the courses of mine that you've got access to, and there will be an app, so you can download the BookCareerInAYear app. That's about a week away, folks. I'm pretty excited about. Fully branded BookCareerInAYear. It's not like some other app that then you log into BookCareerInAYear. It's like that's BookCareerInAYear. You log in and you see all the courses that you've enrolled in. Very, very cool. So I'm currently working on moving things over that way. Randall said it's where they keep you. I don't know what he's talking about. He's being Randall. Any other questions from me? I spewed a lot of truth there. I hope it didn't come across disrespectful. I don't mean any of this in disrespect. And when I say get in the game, I'm not saying you suck. You're bad at this. What I'm saying is get in the game. Don't worry about how hard something's going to be. Just get in the game. Do the easiest, simplest thing. And if it doesn't work, change something about the platform, change something about the marketing, change something about the system, but don't get out of the game. Don't stop doing direct sales. Randall asked, that's a good question. How do you sell direct at conferences? I don't do the whole conference sales thing, but that's mostly because of a career path I'm on where I'm usually speaking at conferences. If I go, it's on behalf of Draft to Digital, Author Success, all that. And I just don't, it's too much for me to, set up a table and do direct sales. However, I recommend, I don't think he's in this call, but go ping a friend of mine named Todd Fonestock. That's FAHNESTOCK. Todd Fonestock or Ben Wolf. These guys are absolute masters at direct sales at conferences. And I'm talking setting up the booth, get the posters behind you, and going and talking to people. That's the secret that they told me. It's like, hey, it's actually not a secret. Most authors just stand there behind their table and they wait for people to come to them. We go and we say, hey, here's a book. I think you'll like it. Can we talk about it? Or, maybe a little too salesy. They'll usually go and say, what do you read? What are you interested in? Let's just have a conversation. Let's just talk. Let's just get to know each other. And then if it works out that the person reads the kind of stuff they write, you better believe they're going to come in and be like, hey, listen, I got a book here. You know why I'm here. I know why you're here. Like, come on, can we just, I know you'll like it. Let's do this, right? But if they don't read that kind of thing, then they're not going to try to sell them. You're not going to try to push them. So that's really the secret is don't be pushy, but don't be afraid to sell. Don't be afraid to get in people's faces so that you can build a relationship with them and engage them and talk to them a little bit. And then if it happens that they read your genre, then you can make that sale. And it's so much easier. Adam says, Todd could sell ice cubes in Alaska. Yeah, he really could. He could sell a Snickers bar to a diabetic for sure. He's a good dude, though. He's really cool. He did. So I asked him about this once. If you live in Colorado, just beware. I asked him, I was like, hey, man, can we talk sometime about like how you do direct sales at conferences? Because I was really interested in it. Thinking, author events or fan events, that kind of stuff, reader events. And he was like, yeah, when do you want to meet? And I told him, and he was like, all right, great. I'm coming down with all of my stuff, and I'm going to set it up in your living room, and I'm going to literally like show you how I do it. And I was like, ooh, okay. And I made my wife attend. Like, it was a whole thing. It was really, really cool. He did a phenomenal job. But just be prepared. You're going to need some space. He's going to come to your house. He's going to take over your living room. He's going to show you how he does it. Because there's no secrets in this industry, guys. If people are trying to keep secrets from you, you need to get away from those people. We don't want those people in the author industry. There are no secrets. And if there are, they're not actually secrets. People just want to hold on to them because they think they're secrets. Okay. Kirk asks if, for those of us in KU, any pricing tips for selling paperbacks direct. Go watch my live stream on pricing. It's on YouTube. I think you can search pricing. I really talk mostly about pricing generally, and it kind of ends up being more specifically for ebooks. So for pricing tips for selling paperbacks, I haven't done a lot of testing on that, to be honest with you. So I don't want to tell you, here's what you should do. What I do is I try to make sure that my royalty, so the actual, after everything else, what I get in my bank account is about the same, within 10 to 30 cents of what I would get from somebody buying the ebook form. So my ebooks are $6.99 for the most, that's full price for me, unless I'm doing a price promo. That's what I can expect, $6.99, and then I get, was it $4 of that, or $4.07? So I want my paperback to generate $4 in profit for me. That's how I price them. So I go through, if it's, I sell my paperbacks everywhere, so direct, Ingram Spark, Draft to Digital, Amazon. Depending on the platform, I'll price it. And usually it's the same price because printing costs are around the same thing, and fees and all that stuff to sell on those platforms. But I'll change the price depending on the platform. I might do $14.99 on this one and $16.99 over here. I don't know that that's a very scientific answer for you because I haven't tested it enough. But that's how I do it. I just try to keep everything about the same. There are some of my readers that will only buy my paperback books. So yeah, I want to keep them affordable. I want to keep them cheap. But we're also talking print on demand, right? I don't have 100,000 books in a warehouse that cost me $2 a pop to print. I'm selling these things, and it may cost $6 to have the whole thing printed, and then the person printing it deserves, some profit as well. So it ends up being, that my paperbacks aren't competitively priced compared to something like a mass market paperback from HarperCollins. That's fine. Hey, we're living in the world we live in. So hope that helps, man. I don't have any specific tips other than I try to get close to the same amount as I do for my ebooks, profit-wise. Okay, 2 more minutes. If there's any last questions, any last comments, happy to stick around. It's only 2 minutes. Anybody can stick around for 2 more minutes. I'll do that for you guys. Here's one coming in from Robin. Special editions, is it worth ordering boxes of the higher quality ones to sell direct? Probably not. Here's what I mean. When we're talking special editions, I'm usually not referring to a book that's printed by a better printer being the special edition. It's usually something besides the print quality that's the special edition. So if you remember my first book, I was saying I did wrapped it up in nice paper and put like a stamp from, like a custom stamp on it, making it look more like an adventure kind of thing. That's the special edition. The book itself was just printed at a, printer. And back then it was all just like, it was like Amazon had like a printer in their office and they were just like, here's your, it was really cheap. It was really low quality. Now, these days, quality, it's not the exact same across the board. There's definitely going to be instances where you get bad books, but those are usually anomalous. Those are usually the exceptions, right? Generally speaking, we're all doing either offset or digital. They're both very affordable these days. Doesn't matter if it's a Heidelberg 5000. Like it's going to be a good enough quality. The point is, I wouldn't use price or special edition to be a differentiator when the print quality is only marginally better. So, for example, if you're going to look at CreateSpace, whatever, and Lulu. Yeah, Lulu might be a little bit better. I shouldn't say CreateSpace, Amazon Print, whatever it is. One might be a little bit better than the other, but it's not enough to charge more for and call a special edition. That's all I mean. I'm seeing that you're clarifying. Yeah, ones with foil on the cover, dust jackets, ribbons. So in that case, your question, is it worth ordering boxes of them? It depends. If you think you can sell boxes of them, then order some. But I might try to figure out how to start with a higher cost basis, one-off version, and try to sell that. You'll make less profit, but you're going to get to see, okay, is this viable, right? This is what Kickstarter is great for because we can pre-sell all this stuff. So if you're doing a special edition with foil, dust jackets, ribbons, first of all, go talk to Dave Sheets, Believers Book Services. He's in the indie author community. He'll be at 20 books. He's there every year. He's a great dude, and he knows how to do this kind of stuff. He knows how to actually produce fancy special editions, and they're not cheap, right? They're not going to be cheap, especially if you're just doing 1 or 2 or 10. Whatever's the affordable way to do it. But don't go order boxes. Don't go get 100 of these things or 200 of these things. Just start with 10. Start with 20. You can sell 10 or 20. Even if it's like, hey, I'm getting desperate. I'm asking all my friends at my kids' school to buy these special editions. You'll still sell them, and it's going to be a good lesson in sales for you. Does that make sense? So you'll make less profit on each copy if you do it that way. But I don't want you to be strapped with debt and having a garage full of books and all that junk. Nobody wants to be there. So if you've been investing all this time and energy in producing a special edition like that, just get a few. Make sure you can sell, or do a Kickstarter for it. Because then you can pre-sell all these things. Hey, nobody wanted them. Great, I don't have to print them anymore. Or hey, there's 400 people that want them. Well, now the cost is going to be within reason. Okay, bye. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, well, I think that's probably about it. I hope this has helped a little bit. Again, I've said a few things here. Mindset is important. That's usually what's missing if you're not where you want to be. It's not some tip or trick or ad, campaign style. It's not the way you write. If you're good enough, the difference is your mindset. Okay, and direct sales is a great way to develop the mindset. Okay, the way to do that is to get in the game. Challenge yourself. If you think you can build a website in a day, great. Give yourself a week, because you always overestimate, and then set up a website and start selling direct tomorrow or in a week. Whatever it is. If you think it's going to take you 3 months to build a website, give yourself 6 months, but challenge yourself to have something to show me in 6 months. I'm going to say, you got your thing. Here's 6 months from now. Yeah, so if you need that challenge, send me a message, guys. Shoot me a message and be like, look, I think I can do this, but here's the challenge. I will give you a challenge. I'll say, look, it's Nick here. It's real me. I'm telling real you. Do this. Let's figure out a time when you can do it, and then I will ask to see it. I just did this with a good friend of mine here in town. We grabbed coffee. He was expressing some challenges that he's going through and facing, and I'm like, 2 weeks, man. I want you to have a landing page up for this thing in 2 weeks. I'm not his boss. It doesn't matter, but I'm just challenging him as somebody in it with him, in the trenches with you guys. I will be happy to give you that challenge. I'll be nice about it, but the point is, a lot of times it's helpful to have that accountability, right? So if you need it, ping me. I'm imminently pingable. Go find me and go ask me, and I will give you a challenge, and we'll figure it out based on what you need to do. Real simple. We'll cut through the clutter. All right, 6 months from now, here's what you're going to have. Show it to me. Great. Cool. Got it? All right, I hope this has served you. Go get in the game. Go sell direct. It's not as scary as you might think it is. I hope that you do it, because this is where we're going. This is where we're going 1, 3, 5 years from now. Okay? All right. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate you being here with me. We'll be back next Thursday. Actually, yeah, next Thursday we should. And we will come at you live with some more live stuff. I don't even know what